Thanks for coming in today on this holiday season. I want to, first of all, thank Councilor Matt O'Malley, who has worked extremely hard on this legislation and really has done a lot of all the work, actually, in talking to the council and sitting down with the administration and sitting down with, thanks, Michael. Hold on. It's on. And sitting down with Austin Blackman, the Chief of Energy for the City of Boston, Chris Osgood, the Chief of Streets of the City of Boston, and Jerome Smith, the Chief of Civic Engagement. So I wanted to congratulate you, Councilor O'Malley, for all your great work here. And I know that a lot of advocates are here that got us to do this, but congratulations on great work. I want to thank Joel and Clean Water Action. I actually, when I was a candidate for mayor in 2013, Representative Larry, come on in, Larry. Come on in, Rep. Sit up here, Rep. Before I get to Joel, I want Laurie Ehrlich actually was a state rep. I was a rep with her, and actually she filed a bill at the State House regarding gas leaks. And this was back in 2012, I think she did it. And I signed on as a co-sponsor of that legislation back then. And then when I was a candidate for mayor, I met Joel, and Joel took me on a safari. And we're in the back of a van, and we're driving around the streets of Boston, and we hopped out, and we had this neat contraption, and they were showing about where the gas leaks were in the city of Boston. And it was the first time, believe it or not, that as an elected official, he took me around and showed me the base of trees, and trees dying with gas leaks. And we talked, we went around the city, and that was part of, when I was running, part of my policy papers. If you look at it, we talk about in our policy, and a lot of it came from Joel and a lot of advocates that are in this room. So I want to thank Joel that we're here today, but also congratulations on all your great work. I know this isn't the end, this is the beginning, so I want to thank you for your great advocacy. Ania as well, from Mothers Out Front. We're going to hear from Ania in a little while. Thank you as well for your advocacy. It is important. It's always, when we're leading up to a time, it always seems very, the discussions get heated and everyone gets aggravated, and then when we actually get to the day of something, legislation happening, it is a celebration. And today, in some sorts, it is a celebration. So I want to thank everyone here today. Gas leaks are a public safety issue. There's no question about it. Gas leaks are a public health concern. There's no question about that either. So this bill goes a little bit in helping address that. We clearly have outdated infrastructure in the city of Boston that we are trying to get fixed. And not just in the city of Boston. Representative Chairwoman earlier can actually talk about around the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, other cities and towns as well. It's also a financial burden for individuals. And what we're doing today is collecting information about the location and size and persistence of gas leaks. Something that goes back to my days in the back of the van, or what Representative Ehrlich tried to do and has done in some ways at the State House over the last several years. It's always also about improving conditions and repair and maintenance as we move forward. So this bill is going to help our environment, but this bill is going to help our people. And I think that that's something that's really important. So I'm excited to be here this morning. I'm excited that the timing of this, it's kind of an early Christmas present, Hanukkah present, Kwanzaa present, any present you want. That's what we're doing today. So I want to thank you for being here today. And I have the honor of introducing to you the lead sponsor and the champion of this, City Councilor Matt O'Malley.
Thank you, Mayor Walsh, and your leadership on this and so many other environmental issues, in addition to so many other things, makes me so proud to call you my mayor and lucky to call you my friend. I also want to acknowledge one of my colleagues on the council and an instrumental part in the passage of this bill, City Councilor at Large Anissa Asabi-George is with us. Thank you, Councilor Asabi-George. And Rep. Laurie Ehrlich, we kind of knew each other for the last couple of years, but we began this year with the passage of the puppy mill bill, and we're ending the year with the gas leaks ordinance. So, Rep., thank you for your remarkable leadership on this and so many other issues. I joined the Boston City Council. I was elected to it 6 years ago, and the signing of this bill today marks truly one of my most proud moments. And My name's on the bill, but it was a group effort. This was absolutely a team. We didn't call, we weren't the advocates, we were allies in this. Allies in the fight for climate justice, and there are so many people here, and if I begin to start thanking people, I'll get in trouble, but I think Ania is going to take care of a lot of that. But Mothers Out Front were absolutely remarkable. This bill started with Ania and Mothers Out Front meeting with me 2 years ago, asking us to do a resolution in support of Lori Ehrlich and Jamie Eldridge's bill at the State House that would address gas leaks, would address coordination of repair, would address so many other things. Vicki Bach was there, so many of you guys were there. And Josh Zakem, who is the only reason Josh isn't with us because he's on his honeymoon right now, but Josh was a great partner in this as well. We did a hearing, and the utility companies, came and sort of did everything they could to put roadblocks up, and we authored a resolution which passed unanimously, and then we continued to not disband the committee. We made a working group addressing gas leaks and just the impact they have on our environment for so many reasons. And from that, we discovered with the group with HEAT, with Clean Water Action, with BCAN, Mothers Out Front, the Sierra Club, Environmental League of Massachusetts, so many great partners. We really, I think, wrote the most aggressive and impactful gas leaks bill that we've seen anywhere in the state, perhaps even in this country, at the city and town level. We had a hearing, went to the Department of Public Utilities, we testified at the State House, and we were working up until we were able to pass this last week, and Mayor Walsh was phenomenal. We literally were at 2 different tree lightings over the course of earlier this month and figuring out ways we could do this, what we should do, anticipating roadblocks. And it was fantastic. And this is although it is an important environmental issue, obviously, gas leaks are 86 times more harmful than carbon dioxide in the first 20 years. They kill trees. They kill shrubbery. They affect climate change considerably. It's also a public health issue. There is irrefutable evidence that these gas leaks can exacerbate respiratory issues and other things. It's also a public safety issue. We have seen explosions caused by gas leaks. And it's a consumer advocacy issue. As ratepayers, we are paying $90 million per year for gas that escapes into the air. And on one hand, I know there are some terrific folks from Stop the West Roxbury Lateral, a pipeline that Mayor Walsh, Councilor Sabi George, so many of us are against. They're saying we need this pipeline, we need this new infrastructure because there's not enough gas for all customers. That simply is not true. If they fix the gas leaks, we have more than enough with our existing infrastructure, and then we can focus on renewable energy sources, which is a society we need to be doing. So I'll just say in closing, before I bring up my dear friend Ania Camargo, I am so grateful for all of you. I am so grateful for the partnership that we have done. Now more than ever, it's going to be up to cities and towns to lead on fighting climate change. We have a responsibility now. And with my colleagues on the council, with our leader and Mayor Marty Walsh, I know Boston is going to be the greenest, most environmentally friendly city on the planet. We're going to do everything we can. This was a great first step. It's a simple initiative when you think about it, but it is profoundly impactful. We're going to oversee the coordination. We're going to empower the Department of Public Works to force the utilities to survey different land. We're going to have information, real-time reporting, so that Audrey doesn't have to use outdated GIS mapping system. We're going to have real information. We're going to be able to coordinate, and we're going to allow Chris Cook and the mayor's team to recoup some costs for some of these killed trees. This is a very important piece of legislation. I am so grateful to the mayor for his leadership and support. I am so proud to have stood with all of you to get to this moment. It's a great day, and it's a great thing for our city and our Commonwealth. So thank you all so much for everything. Please join me in welcoming Ania Camargo, a Back Bay resident, a dear friend. She had 150 people out last week surveying gas leaks in the Back Bay Beacon Hills. She's a remarkable leader. She's a big reason why we are here today.
Thank you. I am a volunteer with Mothers Out Front, and for those of you who don't know Mothers Out Front, we are moms and grandmoms and really anyone who wants a clean energy future for our children. I'm also a very proud member of the Gas Leak Allies Group. And on behalf of mothers and our kids, many of whom are here today, and everyone from the Allies Group, I want to thank Mayor Walsh. This is indeed a fantastic holiday gift from you to us. I also really appreciate that you knew about this even before you were mayor, and it makes sense why this is being signed today. We also want to have a huge thanks to Councilor O'Malley for your leadership and support. We could never have done this without you. And to the City Council for voting to pass the resolution last week. The ordinance last week. Joel will share in a moment all the value of the ordinance. It was a big win for everyone. But as important as the end result, as Councilor O'Malley spoke, the process has also been admirable. This ordinance is a case study in the importance of collaboration in developing policy. For Mothers Out Front, it started in February of 2015, not even 2 years ago, when 6 moms and grandmoms discussed the article in the Globe that said that enough methane was leaking out of our Boston pipes to heat 200,000 homes, and that methane was 86 times worse than carbon dioxide as a greenhouse gas. We were tremendously upset, and we wanted to do something about it. To understand the issue better, we reached out to Joel Wool from Clean Water Action and to Audrey Schulman from HEAT. That is the organization that mapped the 20,000 leaks in Massachusetts and made them all visible for all of us. They patiently educated us and introduced us to other great people who had been working on leaks for years. Mike Prokosh and Sarah Driscoll from the Climate Action Network, Ed Wool and David Zeke from the Sierra Club, as well as physician Dick Clapp and scientists Nathan Phillips and Margaret Hendrick. We became the Gas Leak Allies group and have met regularly ever since then. Along the way, many other groups joined us, including green organizations such as the Emerald Necklace Conservancy and the Friends of the Public Garden, as well as several civic associations. From the start, we met with the city councilors, and they agreed something needed to be done. Councilors O'Malley and Zakem led the way with a hearing just over a year ago. By then, hundreds of mothers were interested in gas leaks, because with the heat maps, they saw leaks next to their homes, to their kids' schools, to the playgrounds, to public parks, really everywhere. At that hearing, we also heard directly from gas workers and learned that they also wanted to get rid of these darn leaks. They are the front line and are in the most danger when problems arise. So we were delighted when Community Labor United joined our allies group so that their perspective could also be represented. Our goal was to figure out how Boston could work with the gas companies to fix the largest leaks as fast as possible. We are thankful to Ed Wool from the Sierra Club and Megan Herzog from the Conservation Law Foundation, who wrote the ordinance and lived through many, many iterations of it. Thanks also to Austin Blackman, who pushed us in making sure that we were working within Boston's authority, and he was making sure we had the best ordinance possible. Also thanks to Public Works, who advised us so that the ordinance would actually meet its intended goals. So, moms and grandmoms teamed up with experts from great organizations, physicians, scientists, labor unions, tree advocates, lawyers, and neighborhood associations, and worked side by side with our elected officials and city staff to end up here today with our mayor signing this ordinance. Mayor Walsh, Councilor O'Malley, City Council, and city staff, thank you for leading Boston into a cleaner future. And we are really proud to stand here with you today. Thanks. Now, I have the pleasure of introducing Joel, who was my coach in the gas leak world. So please, Joel.
So thinking back a couple years, I can remember when this campaign was me, a lawyer from Conservation Law Foundation, and I think Audrey Schulman from HEAT, who's here today, talking about how we're going to pass Representative Ehrlich's bill and bring some public education out to people, not just in Boston, but across the state. And since then, we've seen not only the number of people involved in this effort to clean up our infrastructure and to reduce emissions to make neighborhoods safer, grow from a few individuals and a few organizations to many, many, many organizations and many volunteer advocates. In Boston has really shown a lot of leadership on this issue, from our mayor here and city councilor, but also neighborhood groups like Boston Climate Action Network, who were some of the earliest fighters and working on this issue, taking around another safari, Representative O'Malley in Jamaica Plain, and a number of other public officials. So we've been working on this for a long time with many people, and I'm grateful to all of you. And when Mothers Out Front came on, it was like a whole new army of people who were like, not my kid, not my future, not their future, So Councilor O'Malley was talking about how now cities need to lead, and I think it's true. We actually have to have cities lead on climate change. But if I can take off my environmental hat, or my exclusively environmental hat, for a moment, I think we are also facing a time where nationally people are questioning, can government work? Can government do good things? And beyond that, there's also a massive attack on our allies in the labor movement. So how proud are we in Boston today that we are putting something into law that affirms the rights of workers and the safety of workers on the job, that talks about reducing greenhouse gas emissions, but also shows that, yep, city government can work with state government and federal government to get things done. That's what I think the real impact of this today. So there's a little bit of where do we go from here, and I want to say again, I'm so proud as a resident of Dorchester that Mayor Walsh can sign this today, and we can start in Boston. But we are going to not only work on the statewide level to implement legislation Representative Ehrlich has passed twice with the work of many people in this room, but also to implement this in Boston and to pass ordinances that are similar in other cities and towns, so that we can not only reduce carbon emissions, but give government the tools it needs to act locally. And of course work with the workers in all those communities across the state. So thank you. Very happy to be here today, very proud, and thanks to all of you for being here with us.
Woo! Yeah, gonna have some solar heat soon.
It's locked.
All right.